Shalom, shalom. I know I said a farewell in my last video. And for those who know me, know that I give a very long goodbye, so it's kind of comical. I'm still waiting to retrieve. I have the flip phone. I'm not pleased with it because it still has YouTube. These flip phones have YouTube. So I need a phone until I can set up another way to be reached and to reach out, because I have medical needs and that lives in my home, my husband. So I need a way out, right? So at any rate, I do have the flip phone and I'm waiting for it to be set up because I am at loss here and I'm waiting for my husband to do it. I'm currently sitting under a willow tree on the side of my house. I love this tree. When you look at it, it looks like it has been through exactly what I've been through. It's Sabbath Shalom. My thoughts are heavy, but I feel light. And I'm going to explain. So, for those of you, and I'm speaking to those of you who are in the same situation, you are a believer and you've answered the call to be set apart, and your family doesn't want to join in, or they do a little bit and they think, they mock you, they scoff at you, they throw spiritual stones at you, they try to convince you that you're crazy, out of your mind, or that you're trying to be, ish, and you know what I mean that when I say that, for those of you who are awakened. Or they deem us this strange religion, which I laugh at, because we came out of religion, and now we walk in the fullness and the esteem of Yahweh through His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And you find yourself like reading 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 13. But for the same reward I speak as to children. Open wide your hearts too. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. And that's not just husbands and wives, that's like all people in general. For what partnership has righteousness and lawlessness? They argue, right? Darkness and light cannot cohabit together. It can't. The light snuffs the darkness and covers it. It calls it out. People don't like it. They feel like they're being judged, like immediately, even without you saying anything. You ever walk into a room and this, like, two people like you and the rest are like, because your light, which is Father's light, which is esteemed in you, is literally calling out their sin. That's what it is. You have an aroma, and this aroma like penetrates, and it seeps into the very souls of men and women, and they can't be around it. They can't. And as you're trying to grasp and be around these people and be like, what is going on? Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I just said this. Where did they go? Because light and darkness they cannot be, So let's keep reading. And what fellowship has light with darkness? And what agreement has Mashiach with Belial? None. Or what part does a believer have with an unbeliever? A believer is promised life, is promised a kingship, is promised forever, after. And an unbeliever is not promised any of that. And they can't grasp what we know and what we have downloaded, because Father has given us the things of which that is unseen that now we can see spiritually. Does that make sense? And when you're with someone who doesn't believe or is walking in error, for example, I was walking through the grocery store, and as most people, we just get in the way of people, right? And I say, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. It was a woman. Her name was Celeste. And she started talking to me, and she was very lovely woman. But then she's like, oh, because I started talking about Father and things. And she's like, what church do you go to? And I was like, I don't attend church. There's too much paganism and lawlessness, and it is not of Father. And I explained a little bit of my testimony when I was becoming a theologian for Liberty University, and how Father woke me up through that. Those of you who watch the videos, you've seen that video. It's there if you want to hunt it down. But she started talking about rapture, and then I knew, like, oh boy, okay. But most people are asleep. They are. But she was awake in so many other things. We were in agreement with so many things. And when I mentioned the people that are inhabiting the land, and you know where I'm talking about, she got very, very, offended, and hurried up the conversation. And, oh, I gotta go, I just gotta go. And I'm just like, because I mentioned, when you look at a map of where Bethlehem is, South Bethlehem is in the Gaza Strip. Nothing good comes out of Bethlehem. They're saying it still today. Nothing good comes out of Palestine. Huh. So his native language was Arabic, our Mashiach. He also spoke Hebrew, and he spoke Greek. And when I went to mention that, she's like, Abraham. And I was like, Abraham was Arabic, and his sons. The promise, Yitzhak, and his sons were Arabic. And she was like, well, I gotta go. She, lawlessness cannot reign with righteousness. It can't. Same thing with light and darkness. It can't. It can't even come to an agreement. Immediately something is in the way, right? Like, this is righteousness and this is lawlessness, and then this is in the way, and it's keeping them from being one in Messiah. This is one, touching, right? The thoughts exist together in one in Father through the Mashiach. And people get so mad when you say the truth. They don't like it. They don't like that you are bringing something that possibly could, shake their very core and understanding, but we have been lied to. And it's very sad, because she was very kind, but because she has been led astray through dispensational theory or theology, someone's literal thoughts, theories, someone's theories in thoughts, theology, they don't want to talk to you anymore. They're separated. because they don't worship the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob. They worship a book, and they don't even read the book. And when they do read the book, they read it with how they are told to read it. And we were all there, and praise Father, He woke us up from the slumber. The veil has been removed. So, I got a little off course there. And what union has the dwelling place of Elohim with idols? That's why I gave a description just now of Celeste. For you are a dwelling place of the living Elohim, and Elohim has said, I shall dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. I shall live in them. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahweh, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. And I shall be a father to you, and you shall be my sons and daughters to me, says Yahweh the Almighty. But then there are those who live in a house that's divided. Well, our Messiah said it perfectly. I mean, he... I just gotta find it, guys. I'm sorry. Matthew 10. We're going to go 31 and on. So do not fear, you who are worth more than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who shall confess me before men, him I shall also confess before my Father who is in the heavens. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I shall also deny before my Father who is in the heavens. And do not think that I have come to bring peace on this earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to bring division, a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies are those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take up his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. And he who has found his life shall lose it. And he that has lost his life for my sake shall find it. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he who receives a righteous one in the name of a righteous one shall receive a righteous one's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones a cup of water, and whoever gives one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a taught one, truly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. So we were warned, you follow after me the very enemies of your household. There'd be 5 in a household, 2 against 3, 3 against 2, period. unless you save yourself and are equally yoked and have children raised since birth. But unfortunately, and fortunately, because I'm not saying I regret marrying my husband and having children, absolutely not. It's the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. Second to Father waking me up and giving me a new heart and a new mind. That comes first. That was when I came alive. But a lot of us are in this situation. So what do? Do we argue? Well, according to Proverbs, it is better for a man to sleep on the corner of a roof than to have a nagging wife. And that is repeated probably 20 times in Proverbs. And our Messiah just said, deny your flesh, pick up your stake, and follow after me. Actions speak louder than words. Words can add up and really cause division and strife. So we are to walk in his esteem in front of them in hopes that how we walk. Hold on a minute. In hopes of how we walk and how we're seen. The fruits, our changed everything, will entice them. I did it backwards. When my children were young, I was woken up when they were young. They weren't terribly young, but they were young. They were 6 and 8. And my daughter was 16, my oldest daughter. And like I forced them. I forced it. I got rid of everything. I didn't even sit them down. I didn't have a talk with them. I just forced it, and that's wrong. Because Father wants decisions. Father wants the heart to want him. He's not a dictator. He doesn't force. So I'm here left to pick up the scraps of what I did, which was push away, because I came off heavy, very heavy. The fear of Elohim impels us to redirect everything. And like whoever we see, the very fear of Elohim makes us want to reach out and help others to see. But sometimes we can be too hard, right? So, having then these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all defilement of the flesh and the ruach, the spirit, perfecting set-apartness in the fear of Elohim. Make room for us. We wronged no one. So now Shaul is, because there's division in Chloe's house, which is the Corinthians. And they're just divided over everything and fighting over it all. So, and he's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, I gave you the good news. Why are you still on the milk? Arguing. You're this, she's that. This one has this understanding. This one doesn't have this understanding. Well, that means that you must have a demon. And it's like, what? Did it ever occur to anyone? And this is why these phones, these smart devices, being a part of social media, being a part of all of these things, did it ever occur to you that we are so divided because we're listening to so many different things? time to lay them down. And I can't do that today because it's Sabbath and I need to purchase, and I don't want to purchase. And I wasn't going to come on. I actually debated this because I said my farewell speech. But Father rose up in me, and I did say in my farewell speech that if Father rises in me, I will definitely come on and speak. I cannot hush the Father. Someone needed to hear this. I know I needed it. Because it gets heavy, and it gets lonely, and it gets very hard when you're doing this by yourself. I can't tell you how many people are like, well, you're in a house full of people, Rivka. The majority of my time is spent wrestling the uncleanness that wants to enter my house through my unbelieving family. Now, they believe, but they don't believe that they have to be obedient. And my belief is that Father is going to wake them up through their hardships, and they're going to be used for the kingdom. That is my belief. And while I sat there and I read, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, what benefit does righteousness have with lawlessness? And I'm just like, my heart sinks. Because my family was obedient. But because they didn't get it from Father, they got it through me. And they didn't have the understanding, they just followed what I said. And they didn't press and find it themselves. And they didn't choose, they just did it for me. It's not going to work. So this is where I weep and rejoice and make tefillah, prayers. Because Father is so tov, He is good, and our prayers penetrate the atmosphere, and they go up to the golden censer, and they are remembered, and they will be eventually, sometimes immediately. I've seen that happen. They will be answered, but we got to do our part. So all you sisters out there, and maybe brothers, right? Because it's both. It's affecting both genders that are going through the same thing. Hold on. Don't give up. Father is near to you and dear to you and loves you. Don't conform. Don't retract back to your old self so your family will accept you and you can have this peace. There's a different way to do it. You know, instead of arguing and bickering, which no one listens. When you argue, people just shut it off. They're like, ugh, it's clanky. No one wants to hear it. And then you sound prideful, and then that makes the listeners get even more mad, right? Just walk in, Father. The way our Mashiach taught us. Walk. Show it through action. Be the light you desire to see. Be the change you wish to, or be the change you desire to see. I don't like to say wish. We don't serve a genie. But know this, that you are loved and you are precious, and He knows every hair on your scalp. He knows the number. He knows the number of eyelashes. He formed you in your mother's womb. He knitted you. He knows your heart. He knows everything everything. The deepest, darkest parts that you don't even understand about yourself. He knows. Let him do his work. And let him do his work in you, which is beautiful. And don't go back to your vomit to be accepted. A dog returns to its vomit, which is everything that is unclean and lawlessness. Yes, we walk in spiritualness, and we keep everything in spirit and in truth. So we must walk in that. The last couple of years have been so hard, a very hard lesson. My pride came crashing. I was still holding on to pride, and I was lashing out on neighbors and like just being icky, and that's not okay. And Father didn't leave me. I felt the rod, which you are his beloved if you feel his rod. You have a set apart ruach with understanding if you receive understanding of the wisdom that is given to you. Hold on, just hold on. Don't give up. Like, just keep going, and you know, trials and heartaches and lashings and beatings, and some of us will even be put in jail, and like a lot is going to happen and has happened to us, but that is for his glory and our good. Because while we're in this lowly tent called skin, which was given through sin in the garden, we will eventually be beside this tent, and our ruach will have another form, and it will be light. We'll be back to the perfectness, the wonderfulness, the light, and it is absolutely amazing. See, I speak a secret to you. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. At the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised, incorruptible, and shall be changed. For this corruptible has to put on incorruption, and this mortal to put on immortality. And when this corruptible has put on incorruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall come to be the word that has been written, death is swallowed up in overcoming. O death, where is your sting? O Sheol, where is your overcoming? And the sting of death is the sin. And the power of the sin is the Torah, is the laws of Father. But thanks to Elohim, who gives us the overcoming through the Master Yahushua HaMashiach, therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Master, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Master. It's not in vain. It'll never be in vain. Corinthians 5. For we know that if the tent of our earthly house is destroyed, we have a building from Elohim, a house not made with hands, everlasting in the heavens. For indeed, in this we groan, longing to put on our dwelling, which is from heaven, so that, having it put on, we shall not be found naked, which is sin. For indeed, now, Adam and Hawa were light beings. They were just pure light. And the sin gave them skin, which made them naked. So they saw each other as what they what we see when we're naked, right? So sin is skin equals nakedness. For indeed, we who are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we desire to put it off, but to put on the other, so that what is to die might be swallowed up by life. Now, he who has prepared us for the same purpose in Elohim, who has given us the Ruach as a pledge of what is to come. Therefore, being always of good courage, and knowing that while we are at home in this body, we are absent from the Master. For we walk by belief, not by sight. We are of good courage, and are well pleased rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Master. So we also make it our aim to be well-pleasing to him, whether being at home or being away from home. For we all have to appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach, in order for each one to receive according to what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. Knowing, therefore, the fear of Yahweh, we persuade men, but we have been made manifest to Elohim, and I also trust in your consciousness to have been manifested. For we do not again commend ourselves to you, but give you an occasion to boast on our behalf, in order that you have an answer for those who take pride in appearances and not in heart. For whether we are beside ourselves, it was for Elohim, or whether we are of sound mind, it is for you. For the love of Mashiach compels us, having judged this, that if one died for all, then all died. And if he died for all, then those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised. So, from now onwards, we know no one according to the flesh. And if we have known the Mashiach according to the flesh, yet now we no longer know him thus. Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he is a renewed creature. The old matters have passed away, and see, all matters have become renewed. And all matters are from Elohim, who has restored us to favor within himself through the Yahushua Mashiach, and has given us the service of restoration of favor. That is, that Elohim was in Messiah, restoring the world to favor unto himself, and reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed us to the word of restoration to favor. Therefore, we are envoys on behalf of Messiah, as though Elohim were pleading through us. We beg on behalf of Messiah, be restored to favor with Elohim, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of Elohim. And working together, we also call upon you to not receive the favor of Elohim in vain. For he says, in an acceptable time I have heard you, and in a day of deliverance I have helped you. See, now is the well-accepted time. See, now is a day of deliverance. That's Yeshayahu, Isaiah 49:8. Giving no cause of stumbling in whatever, so that the service is not blamed. Rather, we commend ourselves as servants of Elohim in every way, in much endurance, in pressures, in hardships, in distresses, in stripes, in imprisonments, in disturbances, in toils, in watchings, in fastings, in cleanness, in knowledge, in patience, in kindness, and in set-apart spirit, in love unfinged, in the word of truth, in the power of Elohim, through the weapons of righteousness, on the right and on the left, through esteem and disrespect, through evil report and good report, regarded as deceivers and yet true, as unknown and yet well known, as dying and see we live, as as disciplined and yet not killed, as sad yet always rejoicing, as poor yet enriching many, as having none and yet possessing all. Our mouth has spoken openly to you, O the Corinthians. Our heart is wide open. You are not restrained by us, but you are restrained by your own affections. Get them in order. But for the same reward I speak as to the children, open wide your hearts too. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness and lawlessness, and what fellowship has light with darkness? We already read that. But wow, guys, like, ooh. Thank you, Father, for that beautiful message. That's it. That's all I have to say. There's nothing more. So I'm going to let this end and go back to preparing my coming away from this stuff. And if Father needs me to speak, I'll speak. I am not going to shut up the Ruach in any way, shape, or form. Please share this video with everyone who needs to hear it. This is Father. This is not me. This is Father speaking through me. It's all esteem to Yahweh. All esteem to Him, the Creator of all things. I am nothing without Him. I am a vessel. And when I'm beside my tent, I will quickly see my Mashiach. And we will be judged. And then we will get our esteem. And we will be in the likeness of Him. Remember, the kingdom is within. Seek ye the kingdom first, and all will be added to you. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, shalom. And Yahabatab. I love you.